I'm Ryan.
I'm Val.
We're the owners of Modern Alpine Cabin in Packwood, Washington, which is just 20 minutes from Mount Rainier National Park. So in 2015, we bought our first A-frame out here. What we like about this area is just that we got tons of skiing, cross-country, alpine, 100 things to do out here. It's just a sublime corner of the world.
We also like having a really nice place to stay when we're out in places like these. You know, it's great to be outdoors and then come home to some comfy cabin. So there's the two den cabins, and then we have a third cabin over there, which was there first. And so we wanted to kind of create a landscape design that kind of allowed guests to interact. We planted a lot of stuff, which you can't really see yet, but hopefully by next spring and summer, they'll be blooming.
So these cabins are going to be vacation rentals, and one of the things our guests consistently tell us they like a lot are the cedar hot tubs. That's just kind of a core element of the cabin experience that we try to deliver out here. So I got a smaller fire pit as well, solo stove, and then just a couple of chairs out here and a small table. So not a lot of deck space, but just enough for two people.
All right, let's step on inside.
So these cabins are only about 420, 450 square feet, so we don't have a ton of square footage to work with here. That made it fun more than challenging because, you know, we had lived in New York for about 20 years, generally in apartments between 300, maybe 800 square feet on the high end. So we had gotten pretty good at making the most of space and like not leaving any square inch underutilized. So we got to apply some of that kind of design acumen here. I built all the cabinets and the tables in here, and I built them for storage. We're trying to utilize as much space as possible. So these overhead cabinets are going to be great for storing linens, cleaning supplies, towels, stuff like that, or just other things you don't want to be visible. And then this built-in sofa here, I can lift this up. We can stick things like, you know, paper products, toilet paper, linens, other stuff like that in there. And then one of the trade-offs with such a tiny space like this is that, you know, we couldn't have a dining room. So I designed these tables here to swing around such that someone could sit there, have a meal, bang away on their laptop, get some work done. And then, you know, when we're not using them, we can nest them back over here, and this table can function as an armrest or just a place to put stuff.
Some of my favorite parts are really like the mix of old and new. So I feel like when we, in our day-to-day lives, whether it's like design magazines or travel or whatever, I feel like it's cool to see how kind of all of this gets tied into the designs here. And then these are handmade by Ryan, and I think they're really cool, and they kind of add a nice warmth to the cabin. And yeah, I think also, I mean, we have this great local flea market that comes through town twice a year in Packwood, and he always finds like really cool vintage finds. So some of these are sort of very local vintage things that kind of add a nice touch, I think.
I think a warm fire is kind of a core element of the getaway to a cabin experience. So we've got the pellet stove here. Fire's right up, it's very easy to ignite, not much effort there. The chair here was one of our kind of splurges. This is a Blue Dot sling leather chair, and it was pretty spendy, but once you've actually sat in it for a while, it's just incredibly comfortable. It's far more comfortable than it looks like. So it didn't feel like such a splurge after we had used it for a little while. And the other nice thing about this is that it's, in addition to being easy on the eyes, it's just really easy to move. And that's pretty useful because we do laundry back here. So we had to go with a stackable Bosch washer dryer here just to get it to fit in that tiny closet. We've got the ductless heat pump, so we got heat and AC. We can use it pretty much year round, and it's super efficient.
The bedroom is upstairs in the loft. Ryan built this very sturdy ship ladder. We have a window on the backside and then a skylight that lets in some really nice natural light. And we were able to fit a queen bed up there and some small side tables. So part of what we loved about the den design, another feature, is the wall of windows. It really lets in a lot of natural light, plus the skylights also, they're really great, to a small space. And we're in the Pacific Northwest, so it's kind of dark here during the winter, so it's nice to have.
So now we're in the kitchen. As I mentioned, this is a vacation rental, and Val and I used to take a lot of vacations, and we usually stayed in vacation rentals, and one of our biggest gripes was just that kitchens in vacation rentals are generally terrible places to cook. So we didn't want that to be our guest experience, so we definitely splurged in the kitchen. In a kitchen this small, you're kind of limited to European appliances, so with the exception of the Miele fridge, everything in here is Bosch. Series 800 dishwasher, convection oven, and an induction cooktop. So we really try to do it right. We're basically designing a kitchen for somebody who really enjoys cooking and will appreciate appliances with a lot of function and high finish quality. So we couldn't fit a dining room into a 420, 430 square foot place. So I designed this kitchen bar here, sketched it out in Illustrator, cut all the wood, slapped it together. And we didn't have a window here. We were on the fence about whether to put one in. We're gonna have a lot of hikers here, a lot of people who spend a lot of time outside, and I thought it might be nice to have an aerial view of the whole area. Roads, Forest Service roads, highways, hiking trails, national park boundaries, stuff like that. And of course we have the cabinets here, the vertical cabinets for storing, you know, groceries, appliances, anything people might bring. We've just got tons of storage here, and I'm kind of happy with the fact that we can pack, you know, so much design and function and storage into such a tiny space. Because we got the entryway here, I put this plumbing hardware here with hooks, so there were, you know, people could hang their coats, hats, scarves, anything you would typically hang up in a foyer. And here's the bathroom over here. This is the bathroom. This is an area where we also kind of splurged. We got a Toto sink, Toto toilet with bidet attachment. We've got the Grow shower head and fixture. This is rubber coin dot flooring. Typically only see that in commercial and industrial settings, but we actually like the way it looks. It's kind of typically aesthetics are kind of a secondary consideration when people are using this kind of material, but we thought it looked pretty good in the bathroom. Didn't cost a lot, maybe $3 a square foot, and it's super easy to install. So this is the back side of the house, facing the driveway and the street. We didn't spend a whole lot of time thinking about how this would look from the curb. Not that important, really. So this is where we threw the electrical panel, the meter, and of course the EV charger. We have a whole lot of guests coming up here from Seattle, from Portland. We're seeing a lot more Teslas in our driveways. That's a long distance to drive. Portland to Packwood, Seattle to Packwood and back, roughly 2.5 hours. So, and there aren't any charging stations out here, not yet. So we wanted to make sure we provided EV charging, just because guests have expressed to us that is important. It's kind of a discriminator in terms of where they think about booking a reservation. So having that available potentially opens us up to a lot more customers. Prior to doing these builds, we had bought 4 cabins. We had to renovate all of them. When you buy a cabin, you're buying somebody else's headaches, mistakes. We didn't have that problem with these builds. We kind of knew what we were getting. So starting with a blank slate was kind of refreshing. We could spend more time being creative and less time turning wrenches, trying to fix things, tearing up walls, trying to correct other people's mistakes.
For me, Den was they had the videos and the stories of people doing builds, and so that sort of made it seem more possible for us to do because someone else was doing it, so maybe we could too. So I feel like that was like the nice part about working with Den, is just hearing about other people's builds, which, I mean, that's the point of why we're kind of shooting this video, is to kind of say, hey, this is what we did, you can do it too.